Yo, a little walk and talk to rant and decant some things you can't say as we deny our truth, and here's the double speak proof. Many of you are too indoctrinated to think for your own kind and mind. Thoughts created but debated aside, you still tried. As I affirm, you will deny, and by that proof I speak the truth. Newspeak, WikiLeaks, double speak, they got you weak. Gender affirming is actually denying the other gender. As yes can't be no, left can't be right, and black can't be white, one must have the conclusion. Gender affirming is causing confusion. It's an illusion to say it confirms one by not denying the other. So yes, affirm your new gender ideology also means deny your gender biology. Doublespeak is a way to make you weak, weaken the words, twist the meaning, and nothing is based in reality. Affirming something denies the opposite of it. Yes means no. No means yes. No means no. Remember? And yet affirming yes to this means no to that. So deny your gender or affirm yourself to the infirmary, for you're firmly using doublethink, newspeak. I totally support, however, your wish or want to be, but wishing doesn't always guarantee. However, I do believe you should be allowed to be who you choose and stand by for freedom of choice and free speech. Rejoice. But don't misgender speech as free. To call one affirming by canceling out the other. If it's free speech, then all must be allowed to their voice and choice to rejoice with those you agree. And let all speak free. That's how we teach free speech. Be who you want to be and get support from me. But to cancel some words or people or phrases is not speech that's free. Affirming is denying and lying to the original truth. Legal gender can be a spoof, but sex gender is a vile and logical proof. Trans women are actually denying both women and men, as a foot in both bathroom stalls. Inclusion actually is an illusion, a delusion causing more classes and confusion. Take out the diffusion and notice it's causing more division and divisiveness. Requesting people to identify more by their skin color and base surface markers, we might as well divide by hair color, by sides, and barber rides. BLM means other lives don't. Discrimination is an abomination except for the unvaccination. Every child matter means the Catholic Church can get away with it, or more people wearing orange t-shirts. Pride and identity flags actually are banners for stand apart, not standing together. You know who else loves prideful flags and banners? I tell you, they also wear armbands to identify. This is Orwell, doublethink, newspeak. The ministry of love is the prison covered in barbed wires and armed forces. Non-binary is defining by saying you are not defined by that anti-label is the label. Not know what a woman is dilutes the power of all women. Calling men toxic brands them all as bad. This is a classification. Divide the nations and the civilizations. Create a class and more separation. Use incantations to further the indoctrinations. A few slogans to induce more manipulations. Repetition of the phrases. No justice, no peace actually means there is no justice or no peace. But if you repeat it and retweet it, it meets the illogical, psychological opposites, as oppression is the lesson in language. So change the language. Welcome to the newspeak, doublethink, you weak, you sheep. When someone opposes, call them the oppressor. Promote free speech by silencing others. Call it a democracy when it's built on hypocrisy, run by increasing control power of censorship, and call it democracy by an unelected official, now officially more of a dictator paid for by a puppet. Edit to discredit. Remove words from the language. Use AI and algorithms to suppress and ban any criticism of voices, opinions, or reason. Discount anyone with or without a label. Black pride is celebrated. White pride is racist. A man is toxic, but a trans man is brave. No one knows what a woman is, but a trans woman is a woman. Confuse the language to use nonsense as sense, and doublethink to disable all the powerless as the towers of Babel. But this is not a fable. This is how classic fascism turns the table. When faced with real facts, attacked by detracting or reacting or by throwing anti-labels back. Agree with science on gender. You're a bigot. Follow the science around Wuhan. You're redacted for 75 years. Trust the science on the cure. You're accepted into society. Follow science now. You're an anti-waxer. How disgusting. Ew. Be your true, authentic gender by changing it with legal paper. And be true to yourself and identity by altering your image, body, and identity permanently. Disagree with gender, identity, Being misgendering is missing the reality. Identity politics are politics. The spectrum is fluid, left and right, wrong and right, Democratic, Republican, liberal, conservative. That's identity issues, not to be confused with sex, gender, not to be confused with your sexual orientation, not to be confused with nothing to do with your job or publication. It's a private matter. It's private parts. It don't matter for the job or the world where you work. Unless you're going to be exchanging private parts, the rest of the world has no part in it. Gender is not your identity. Sex is not your publicity. Gender being a social construct is a term, first coined in 1955. The controversial and innovative sexologist John Money first used the term gender in a way that we all now take for granted to describe a human characteristic. Money's work broke the new ground, opening a new field for research in sexual science and giving currency to medical ideas about human sexuality. Words, 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 confuse, misconstrue, and make it not right but untrue. Undo all that is known to be true for a few edits of words or two. The ministry of peace concerns itself with war, the ministry of truth with lies, the ministry of love with torture, and the ministry of plenty with starvation. These contradictions are not accidental, nor do they result from ordinary hypocrisy. These are deliberate exercises in doublethink, wink, wink. Smear with hearsay and fear. It's near tyranny and total totalitarianism. As any show of heroism is labeled and canceled by pointing the finger and naming and shaming words as toxic masculinity. Yes, the Superman is the toxic Superman. According to Nietzsche, Superman is an individual who surpassed both the Christian morals and values of humanity and transcends pure rationality. Superman is beyond good and evil in that he recognizes morality only exists concerning human beings. He can create his values through his actions. I teach you, the Superman is something that should be overcome. There was a certain group in extreme power in Germany in 1940s that still exists in many secret high societies today, using the same tactics then now, but instead of guns and yelling, they use smiles and propaganda selling New World Order. So show kids way too young things that make them wonder, as the corruption and disruption is an indoctrination to a slave-minded nation. Embrace equity and equality, simultaneously calling men toxic as biological men infiltrate women's closets, community, consciousness, and class. All this being promoted or suppressed by the same elite groups and conglomerates of deep state that is funded for and by deep hate for more corporate interests and investments. Call for more war. War is peace. Engage in clandestine attacks and acts to control both sides of the conflict. Organized violence for more control as the chaos and wars for more fear and weapons used or weapons sold and more gold to hold for the bold who tells us what is and who is what is told. Hold the small individual accountable for all their expenditures and expenses, but get paid to look the other way for the audit of the Pentagon and all other mass surveillance programs and corporations of corporate greed, as trillions go missing without a proper paper trail. But fail to make a payment in your tax return and forever burn. Increase kids' ability to be sexualized as more kids go missing each year, as human trafficking grows and yet nobody knows. Endless milked cases with empty faces and still no places exposed. Take a look at that black book that's been blacked out and redacted. Pose for more distractions and detractions. Look at those balloons. Well, under your nose goes those blastings of pipelines, and on the list goes. Of double sleek speak, double standards, a new think group. Think thought policing, the people, not evils, that make the secret policies and that say we stand for free speech while impeaching all for unrest and ending any right to protest, and then call it the right or left or the fight of terrorism that demands totalitarianism. But hey, double plus good news, no more need for heroes or heroism.